Hey, we're back this week, and we're going to answer some questions that were sent in to us, and we'll let Mama start off with them.
Okay, some people want to know why there weren't pictures of Danny and Joey with Elvis.
And
There were. Actually, some of them was with Danny when he was little, about 2 or 3 years old in California at the Perugia Way house. And then later on at Graceland and out on the golf carts and down at the ranch. But we didn't take pictures.
No,
So the
yeah,
people
I'm glad
around
him very seldom.
people around Elvis didn't take pictures. He didn't really like that. Only a few tested his tested him out with that.
Oh, yeah.
But he just didn't like cameras stuck in his face from the people that worked for him. Mostly fans had the pictures.
Right.
So that's how we got a lot of the pictures we have are from.
Of course, he
from a lot
didn't
of
mind the
fans.
fans taking the
No,
pictures
he
at
didn't
all.
mind that
He
at
just-
all.
Because usually when he was out, he expected
He
that,
expect-
but when he was, at home and
Well,
all.
yeah, right. At Graceland, it was more of a
Private.
family
Private
respect.
thing,
I mean,
yeah.
we just didn't really think about it.
No.
I mean, we didn't. We were too busy having fun and
Riding.
yeah,
Golf
and just enjoying life. But I mean, you never, we just didn't.
We didn't
look
carry a
at it that
camera
way,
around
so.
all,
Right.
But, yeah.
Good.
Another one.
I
is-
knew it was something in life I'd done wrong.
Somebody wanted to know how often did Elvis smoke cigars? And Billy, you know.
Well, if he was awake, he was smoking.
No.
No.
Not too often.
A lot
but
of times they
most
weren't
of the
even
time,
lit.
he just had it. And what in the hell was that?
It's the Viking horn.
Oh, Viking horn went off.
Well, he didn't really,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say all that.
I mean, he smoked them enough that he actually cut a hole in his motorcycle face shield.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
it burnt through.
Man,
it,
that's
he
true,
did
that
do
is
it.
true.
That's it.
Yeah,
It is
that
true.
did happen.
Or he would get out on the road and the fire would
Yeah.
Firefly.
blow back on him and he'd be throwing it away. Very comical person. He was.
Good question. Hope we answered that one for
Yeah.
you.
Is Elvis really buried at Graceland?
Well, I'm going to tell you just like one of the tour guides once said. Somebody coming through Graceland at that time asked the same question. And his was such a great answer that I'm going to repeat it. He told the person that asked him, is Elvis really buried out in Meditation Gardens? And he kind of looked at it and he said, well, he said, if he's not, he's madder than hell.
But yes, he is, and his mother and father and grandmother.
Yes.
Was Elvis, they say, told off, but nobody told Elvis off. He owned the cape, so, but did they get mad because he threw his cape out into the audience?
In the Aloha from
in the
Hawaii
Aloha,
show.
yeah, in the Aloha from Hawaii.
Danny, I think you could say why he.
You can
why
say
he-
why.
Little story behind that. Really, the cape was too big,
Too long.
and he at the time he wanted a big cape, because style and all the way it was. But after he got it on and was trying to perform in it and all that, it was too big and too heavy. So. And he also thought the eagle on the back looked more like a vulture than it did an eagle. So at
It's
the
true.
end of the concert, he just gave her a good sling out into the audience. And no, nobody would have said anything to him about it.
Or anything else he threw it on.
No, but that's a good question. And
Yes.
hope
Yeah.
Next
you.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can
cut
you
us off. What?
can you talk about Elvis's nightmares?
I could, but I had so many I couldn't. I worried about mine. No, he in the younger days he would have a lot of nightmares and all, and a lot of it came from things that had happened. One time he was sitting in a car, and this is why he was becoming famous, and somebody recognized him, and he was sitting in the car, so they walked up and they said, can I have your autograph, and handed him a piece of paper. And this is true. He started to sign it, and the guy hit him right in the side of the jaw. And things like that. And over the years, people, some guy I remember come to Graceland and said, I heard you've been looking for me, and Elvis simply had a quick answer. He said, let me tell you something. He said, Memphis is not that big. If I'd have been looking for you, I'd have found you. So this caused him to have a lot of nightmares. I remember one he was telling me about that he dreamed that several guys were, chasing him and he had a nightmare and he woke up, just one thing you couldn't do with Elvis, and this is interesting that a lot of people don't know, and I know my cousin Gene Smith found out quickly. When he was having a nightmare, you didn't grab him, you didn't touch him, you simply talked to him. Gene actually grabbed him and he actually hit Gene. Because it, shocked him so much. And but yeah, he had, but he got out of them I think he basically got out of them pretty good after, I would say 60, when he, came back out of the Army. He was not as bad.
He did sleepwalk sometimes.
Yeah, he would once in a while would get up and move around his room and all. Again, that goes back to the nightmares and stuff.
That's another very good question.
It is.
That was a good.
Oh, was it?
Were you ever in the attic? And what was up there?
He kept me up there most of the time, locked up. But no,
Little
yes.
troll.
Yeah.
Little troll.
Locked in the attic.
The troll in that.
Little troll Billy.
Me wants to be gold. No, but yeah, I was in the attic a lot of times. We'd go up there. He had a lot of personal things up there. A lot of his wardrobe was kept up there, and also his Army stuff when he came back out of the Army was stored up there. In fact, when I was working at Graceland and they were opening up the
Trophy room.
trophy room and all that, yeah, there was a couple things that they didn't know where it was, and I knew they were in the attic. So, which was the Army stuff, the suit and field jacket, and also the leather guitar cover thing was there, and I told them about that.
Also honeybees.
There was a whole swarm of honeybees he had to have removed. It
And
was up
remember
there,
the time the bat came down and he made such a big deal that
he
he
finally
got it
caught
with his
the
flashlight.
he finally caught the bat and he was spreading him out and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, there was a couple of squirrels and me and somebody else he called Squirrel.
You and Charlie.
Oh, man.
Okay.
But I hope that answered your question.
Did Joe ever cut Elvis's hair? No way. I didn't. Linda did once, but Linda probably want to tell about that, so I'm not going to say. Were you, okay, let's see. Which Elvis movie did Elvis like the best?
Me personally, from all that he talked about, he liked King Creole.
I think so too.
He did 3, and then he done King Creole, the 4th one, and like he said he got a chance to actually act in it rather than just being a musical. And then I think the only other one he really cared a whole lot about, I think, was probably Chiro. He got a chance to, he wasn't a lot of singing, he got a chance to act.
Do more acting.
He just didn't think he had the right parts and everything.
To show
And
how
Elvis,
good he was.
I think he would have been a serious actor, in just about a lot of things, comedy to, serious acting and all. He just never got the right role, and they didn't want to cast Elvis in, as long as the ones he
They
was
were
making
making money.
yeah.
I think, and I always wanted to see more because you said Charo, but as far as the series, I think he would have made one bad but cowboy. I think.
I do too. I do too.
Yeah, I'd love to see him in some
Like
more serious outlaw,
like the Clint
Eastwood style.
type.
Yeah, I think he would. That's just my personal opinion. But.
Yeah.
Do you know if Jimmy Ellis was related to Elvis?
No, I've heard rumors that, that he was related, and Jimmy Ellis was, he was a really good performer, and no doubt about that. And
And nice.
in case a lot of you don't know who Jimmy Ellis was, he was Elvis impersonator, and this guy, he was good, but he was no kin to Elvis whatsoever.
Can you share any of the things that you did on the sets during the movie days? What did you guys do?
Well, if you've got about 10 years, I might to cover.
All kinds
We
of
done
Well,
all kind of crazy
Let's
things.
cover just a couple then.
Oh, no, well, okay. I don't even know where to begin, but we
Just
we
whatever-
always,
whatever
Like
pops in
we
the
pranks.
always had
pranks.
pranks and fun doing the movies. I know one time we was clowning around, and I won't mention the hell I won't. His name was John Rich. He was, he's come years ago, and he's told Elvis, he said, why do y'all do all this? He said, it a lot of times it disrupts the movie, and it costs us money. And Elvis says, well, let me put it this way. He said, I do these movies, and I do them because I enjoy them, have fun. He said, when it ceases to be fun, he said, that's when I cease to make them. And so that, from then on, but we always, we're clowning around and carrying on.
Played cards.
And it did. It made everything livelier, and everybody that I knew that worked with Elvis and all,
Loved it.
other actors and even the extras and all that enjoyed the fact, it clowned around a lot,
But that's the
That
way
made
that's
it-
the way
made
it
it-
was all the time, though. I mean, even
Well,
at
it made
Graceland
it-
and the ranch. I
It
mean,
actually made the movie more fun, like you said,
Sure.
more fun to.
But what I'm saying is, though, that was just y'all. Y'all was all
Yeah.
time
All right.
doing something
Especially,
crazy, or
You, Richard Davis was a prankster,
Yeah.
out of this world,
Yeah.
and
Well, all
Well,
of us
all
were.
all the guys
It just
were.
depends on what
Gigi.
might strike us to do
Yeah,
at the time. That's
right.
what we did, and so it made for a lot of fun.
It cost a lot of retakes sometimes.
One of the funniest ones is this poor guy. He was a wardrobe man, and Elvis sweated a lot, especially when we were outside filming and all that. And his job was, just to keep Elvis's wardrobe and all. Well, he had this shirt, and Elvis only had two at the time. And while he was doing a scene and all, and sweating, he would hang the other one up on this little table-like thing for it to dry out, because they had these lights, and these lights were really hot, stage lights and all. And every time he would go around and check, we'd all throw water on him. Kept the shirt with. He'd come back and he'd check it. Well, he'd look around and see when drying, so he'd move it over here, and then he'd get another light put on it. And after he'd leave, go around, we'd throw some more water on it. And finally he called us. He said, you guys, he said, okay. So he finally got another prank. I won't tell you what it was, but he finally got another prank on us.
What I want you to tell about.
Kicked off the set, but no.
You got kicked off. What I wanted you to tell about is when during Roustabout, when Elvis was wanting the orchestra or whatever it was he wanted in the background, and they said, "Now we're
Well, no, out in the middle of nowhere.
on the highway."
He was, they said.
Elvis
he
had
was-
suggested it.
Well, what it was, he said, Elvis said, look, he said, it's too not right. He said, I really need some voices in the background. And so the director said, voices in the background? He said, now he said, where would you get voices in the background and all this? He said,
Out in the middle.
out in the middle of nowhere. Elvis said, look, he said, the same down place you got the music and me riding down through here. And so
So they got
he was
voices.
quick-witted.
Yeah, exactly. Was it?
And that's about all that we have time for.
Thank goodness, because you know I didn't know if I could answer it. Boy, I don't remember nothing.
Hey,
No,
like we always
We
say, want to
enjoyed it.
appreciate you.
Subscribe.
And thanks for watching. And until we see you again in a week, remember,
We
always live Ellis.